when she died, I just felt like my life was meaningless. Everything for me had it had ended. And personally, I had suicidal feelings because I couldn't think of going on without her.
Hi SoBS family, I'm Taylor Jade, Head of Social Media and Marketing. Today we have with us Freda Douglas, who is a volunteer, and we're just going to be going through some questions of her experience of being a volunteer and also her personal story as well. So welcome Freda, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first question is, how has being a part of SoBS community impacted your life, both personally and in your role as a volunteer?
I would go as far as to say that my involvement with SoBS has actually been life-changing. My daughter died by suicide coming up for 10 years ago, and when she died, I just felt like my life was meaningless. Everything for me had it had ended. And personally, I had suicidal feelings because I couldn't think of going on without her. Now, I couldn't express those feelings to my family or anyone because I just felt I would burden them. And how would they react? Well, they'd dial 999, they'd take me to the doctor, I'd be given medication. I just didn't want to burden them. And so my sister actually found SoBS, and I went along to a SoBS meeting. And I would say at that moment, it was a huge change for me because suddenly I was with people who got it. They didn't judge me. They totally understood the pain that I was talking about. And if I mentioned suicidal feelings, no one reacted. They say, well, why wouldn't you feel like that? You've had the biggest loss in your life. The worst thing in your life has happened to you. Why wouldn't you feel like that? And so I really felt that I was contained in that group. It really was life-changing for me. Through attending SoBS, I think my confidence grew, and with the knowledge that I was gaining and the support, I decided that I would like to become a volunteer and offer something back. And through that and through just the experiences that I've gathered, I've now also become a trustee of my own charity in my daughter's name. So the whole thing is SoBS helped me to reach out. It reached out for me personally to go and meet up with like-minded people, but it also now has given me, the confidence to reach out to others.
Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't know that you'd set up a charity in your daughter's name. What is the name of the charity, may I ask?
It's very fitting. It's called Inspiring Life because Evie only lived for 21 years, but her 20 years were so inspiring. She just had so many talents and so much to offer. Yeah.
That's really beautiful. The second question I wanted to ask is challenges that you've had to face. So, what are some of the biggest challenges you faced while supporting others through their grief, and how have you overcome them?
A practical one, a fairly simple one. In the Scottish Borders where I live, geographical distance is a huge burden for us, and it's too big an area that people can't just come to a meeting. They would have to travel for hours basically. And one of the ways that we overcame that, well, I don't know if we've overcome it, but we've set up a Zoom meeting. And working online, that has made such a difference. And in fact, distance is no burden at all because I have people who are living in other countries who come on to that Zoom meeting. So that has been, an easy one to overcome. On an emotional level, I would say the biggest challenge at a SoBS meeting, when a new survivor appears and they're in the very depth of their despair, I think for all of us in the meeting, you revisit that time and you go over everything again. You revisit the trauma. You hear them expressing pain. You hear them expressing all the feelings, guilt, shame, anger, denial, and it takes you back to that time and you think, yeah. In a positive way, it makes me see how life has changed because I'm not in that desperate situation. I know that on the days where the tsunami of grief hits me, the pain is exactly the same, that pain that takes your breath away. The pain's the same, but my life has grown around the pain. My life has got bigger, and I can see how far that I have come, and I know that I can offer hope to those survivors because I have reached a place now where more and more I'm accepting the pain, accepting suffering, acceptance of suffering, that's the phrase. And no one promised us that life would be easy. We all have traumas and losses and things that go wrong in life. Everyone. No one's unique to that. And it's how you deal, how you build up some kind of resilience, I guess. And in that time, I've also learned to start appreciating joy. And that was very difficult at the start because I was almost scared to be happy, scared to show joy. I can't laugh, I can't join in, I can't have fun. But actually, I can. And I can appreciate joy in many different ways now and more simplistic ways. So going out and just going for a walk where I live, being beside the river, there is so much joy in the world. And I have days now that I look at Evie's photograph and I'm filled with really lovely memories. There are other days that I look at the same photo or hear a song and I'm in tears. But there are times that I have such good memories and have joyous memories. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. The last question I do have for you is about a memorable experience. So can you share a particularly memorable experience or success story since you've been a volunteer?
I think there are many success in the groups, but I was actually thinking about this, and one thing that really touched me was outside a SoBS group where I was in the coffee shop and I had mentioned in the conversation I'm going to my SoBS meeting tonight, and there was a couple, an elderly couple in their late 80s, and the chap said, what SoBS? What do you do at a SoBS meeting? And I explained it to him. And when I said what SoBS stood for, I just noticed the look on their face. And this old couple, the lady said to me, our son died by suicide when he was 40, and that was over 30 years ago. And they were just devastated. And they said, this is the first time we've actually been able to talk to someone openly. And when you think back 30 years ago, in a close-knit community where they lived, what they were facing was shame. And they carried that. And, there still is stigma. I know there's still stigma around. But back then, before the Suicide Act of 1961, it was a crime. That's where we get that awful, awful phrase, committed suicide, because it was a crime. And I just think back then, I don't know what they had to deal with, but I knew that day that there was just some sense of relief for them, that they could talk to me and I would listen and I wouldn't make any judgments at all to them. And in fact, I still see them occasionally. And yeah, we have, it's like this club that we're in.
Yeah.
Nobody chose to be in it, but we are there, and there is this bond, I guess.
Freda, I'm so touched just by your personal story and also your journey with SoBS, before, middle, and after, and just what you've done in honor of your daughter is absolutely beautiful. I'm so touched. I just wanted to thank you so much again just for coming on this morning and sharing your experience with myself, with our followers, and with so many new people that whether they're becoming a volunteer or whether they're a survivor and wanting to join one of our support groups. So I just wanted to thank you so much for taking the time today. And
thanks for giving me the opportunity. It's something that I've done since Evie's suicide. I've always been very transparent about what happened, and as I say now, I really have this purpose that I want to reach out to others. So anything I can do to help, and I'm very willing to be open about all things related to suicide. Yeah. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thanks.
You're very welcome. Well, we hope this will help any of you out there, and if any of you have been impacted by suicide, then please get in touch. Please click the link in the bio. If you do have any problems, then please just send me a personal message or a direct message and we'll get back to you. Freda, thank you so much again. And yeah, this is the end of our interview. Thank you.
Thank you. Go well. Take care.